Welcome to the Trinity MMO Show at the new year of 2021. We are so glad that you joined us for some good old MMO news. The Trinity in the show's title refers to a group of three closely related persons or things of threes. In our case, it says three of threes. Starting off, we as Christians believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Second three is because we are MMO players that talks about tank, healer, and DPS. And there's three of us MMO gamers, and that's three. So guess what? All these threes go together, and oh my gosh, you got Trinities coming out all over the place.
Our tank's name is Hank, I guess now.
Hank the Tank. There you go.
That's a strong name.
Hank, yeah, All right, but as always, we have our MMO RPG experts here to guide you and me. First up, we have Sir Jaziel.
Hello.
Next is our resident YouTuber at Coffee and RPG, Solomon SK.
Thanks for being patient with me, everyone.
Such enthusiasm from our YouTuber there.
Well, no, we missed like the last two shows because of me, and I'm just like, I feel so guilty about that.
That's the other thing about making these clips, this video, where I'm trying to find one where it's like, someone's like, excited. Glad to be in the house, sir. Or it's right. And it's always like, sorry about the microphone. I'm like, all right. And there's me, Kenneth, and trying to run these cats around. Okay. Each week we bring you the top picks and MMO opinions from the world of MMO, since we are fans and players. 2020 is now over, and now 2021 has crested over the horizon with new opportunities and adventures.
Yay.
You guys sound so excited. Okay, but here we go. We're going to go into quests.
Oh, I thought you were doing an intro.
All right, it is time for some daily some quests, or daily quests. Just realized my whole music is built around quests. These are daily quests. Something need to change, fix up. I've been working on stuff over the last week trying to get ready for 2021, and clearly I messed some things up. I made a new video for us. Yes. I made a training video for myself. Yes. I made some new overlays based on Solomon's template of my social medias, based on things I learned from Dr. Heals. Yes, but clearly I didn't make that fix on the... I'm so sorry, guys. Production values are sinking rapidly as we go.
Unacceptable.
Anyways, okay, 2021 is here, okay? And so I thought one of the things I'd talk about, there's not a lot of big news coming out of the way when it comes to our news. Today is basically a 2021 episode about the future, or our thoughts are. But anyways, Massively OP always puts out their game award, so to speak. And their MMO Studio of the Year was a tie between ZeniMax Online Studios, makers, of course, from wonderful titles such as Elder Scrolls Online, which had Grey Mode this year. And, of course, that's the only thing they do. They're working on something else right now. We don't know what it is. And Cryptic Studios, which I like. Wait, what? Champions Online? But they're doing more than that. Magic Legends is coming out next year. They've been doing Star Trek Online, Neverwinter, so they have a lot of stuff going on for them. So, like, ooh, surprise. Guys, what do you think? Do you think that Massive got it right with these two studios as being the MMO Studio of the Year? So, Jaziel, what are your thoughts?
I would say that we have not heard the as much bad stuff coming out of those studios as far as pay discrepancies and whatnot as some of the other studios out there in MMO land. And ZeniMax they really blew it out of the park. I loved Greymore. I thought it was fantastic. There were a couple little things if I really wanted to be nitpicky, but yeah, they're definitely up there in my book. Cryptic, they've got a lot of smaller MMOs as far as population wise and whatnot, but they sure do a lot of work, and you can't deny that.
That's true. Star Trek Online keeps coming out with new stuff. They even started messing with, or at least trying to update, Champions Online, a game I played for several years with my friend Not Fred. Solomon, what are your thoughts? Did they get it right, or they missed somebody along the way?
Well, they clearly know something that I don't. But I mean, ZeniMax Online Studios, like I could kind of see that. I haven't really I haven't really played ESO, even though I said I would play with you guys back when the last expansion was coming out. But Cryptic Studios, I don't know, and that was a tough one for me because I don't know, maybe it's because I grew up playing MMOs, but Perfect World Entertainment doesn't necessarily have like the greatest reputation, I guess you could say. If you're gonna accuse Perfect World Entertainment of anything, it's gonna be like having all their games with lots of pay to win cash shop items, and that's one of the biggest arguments against games like Star Trek Online, where it's like the truly dedicated whales in the community that are keeping the game up, which is fine. Like I mean, the alternative, in my opinion, is way worse, which is a total shutdown, or maybe even worse than that. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I have my own personal tastes in MMO studios that I would personally put in there rather than those two, but I guess it just really depends on what MMO that you're playing, that you would prefer to be
Yeah.
there. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know, and that's the thing. Like last year, the number one studio they had was Grinding Gear Games, which is Path of Exile. In light what you said, that one of the people that at Methley did say about the cash shop grumblings notwithstanding about Cryptic. One of the other studios that was listed a lot in people but didn't make the top pick was Pearl Abyss. So
I
that'd be one,
think they'll probably make that list next year because, for one, they got Crimson Desert coming out this year at the end of 2021. Although they said it's not an MMO anymore, and I was right all along to kind of toot my horn. But they're also coming out with another like sort of kid-friendly Pokemon-like game called Tokibi, which is still an MMO. So they might still have a lot of games out there that would probably warrant a Studio of the Year. But as of right now, they only really have Black Desert Online and Black Desert Mobile, which really isn't enough, in my opinion, to warrant a studio or MMO Studio of the Year. But that's just me.
No, that's a good point. Thank you so much. Yeah. But that's all I have with my dailies for today. So what do you have there, Sir Jazio?
Well, trying to figure out what my dog wants here. Well, it was kind of slow for me, and then with the holidays and everything, I had my attentions kind of divided up. So what I was going to do was just kind of give my top 3 kudos for 2020. It's not very exciting, but and it seems like there's been so many lists already put out, as far as the top studios and top expansions and whatnot. But my top 3 are going to be pretty obvious to everyone that knows me. More than likely, they could probably already tell that I gotta give a bronze, silver, and gold. Went the Olympic way, and did Guild Wars 2 Icebreed Saga. The reason that set into I give that the bronze third place so easily for me was we thought that studio was dead. We thought the game was dead. We thought that was it. We weren't getting any more. I had uninstalled it because there's no point to keep playing it and keep building on my characters if they were all just going to be deleted at the end of the year, which most of us, I think, thought that. No matter how many, as Solomon was saying, whales were out there that were going into the cash shop and making the purchases, it just seemed like they were done with it, and it was going to, at the very best, be in maintenance mode. So when they came out and did the world questing of Icebreed Saga, and even more so when they made the announcement that is coming year that we're now in, they're going to have an expansion even. It blew my mind, and I was so happy. And I know several people that have reinstalled it, started playing it again, or loving it. Icebrood Saga, I played through most of it. I didn't do the end yet, so I still need to go back and play that. But well deserving a third place in my mind. It's a great game. They do free to play correctly, although it's technically buy to play if you
Right,
want to do the
right.
expansion content. But if you just want the core game by itself, you could play it for free. You just won't have the expansion content and the world questing Icebrood Saga, for instance. The second place, I would say, man, I had a real difficult one with this. So I'll just say both of them. What I ended up settling on was Elder Scrolls Online Greymoor getting second place or silver, and World of Warcraft Shadowlands getting gold. I even right now, a week after writing that, I have flipped-flopped on those two. They are so neck and neck to me. Both of the expansions, of course, the one thing is that I had far more time to invest into Greymoor because it was out for quite a few more months. And man, I gotta say that storyline is just really gripping, and they did a fantastic job. I have had fun with pretty much every aspect of Elder Scrolls Online this year, and the only gripe, the thing that kind of put World of Warcraft ahead a little bit at the time that I wrote this, was the PvP issues, as well, which I don't do much PvP, but when I do, I expect it to work right. And it just, I don't know what happened, but this past year's not been great for PvP in the game because of server side lag issues and input lag and whatnot. And there were some little issues with that in PvE as well, that a lot of people have been complaining about, and they ZeniMax keeps saying, and I believe them, that they are working on it. They're really doing their best to make this a better game for everyone, whether you have a brand new awesome machine, or you've got an older, 2, 3, 4, maybe even a 5-year-old computer sitting in there, that you can still play the game. So I am very happy with the game, and I'm looking forward to it getting even better in this next year. They've already announced an expansion coming out for this year, as well as other content, questing content and whatnot, which is right up my alley, being a PvE guy. So yeah, and then like I said, gold, I gave it to World of Warcraft Shadowlands. I have a few, again, if I wanted to get nitpicky things that I think could be tweaked and made better. I'm a little dissatisfied with the player balancing as far as specializations and classes. There's a real big difference between who's at top and who's on bottom as far as DPS, even HPS, and even tanking. There are definite ones that if you're going to be doing Mythic Pluses or raids, you are going to pick them, because anything below that is just not going to do. You're not going to get picked. So they need to fix that. But the story so far has been really awesome. I've been loving doing the Covenant stuff. Torghast has been a love-hate thing. Kenneth knows we've had both good and bad runs with that. And that was supposed to be a primary. Oh my gosh, my brain just went and turned off. I had the word there.
Yeah, the primary dungeon that
time investment,
to your gear, right?
Yeah,
all the soul dust
and
you get for legendary weapons and whatnot.
And I do feel like, and this is coming from me who's played the game since the very beginning, since 2004, and I know that I've heard this from people who have now quit, that were newer players, because there's just so many options to what you can do that it feels very overwhelming. If you don't realize that that's done on purpose, that you're supposed to have options, that you're supposed to be able to just say, you know what, I'm just going to run Mythics, Mythic Plus, or I'm only going to raid, or I'm only going to do questing and Torghast. You're not supposed to have to do all of it. Now, if you really want to invest that much time and you have that much time, well, some of us have that these days, but not all of us, certainly. That, man, it can be very overwhelming how much content was thrown in the very beginning of this expansion for you to do. But ultimately, what you were supposed to do and what they kind of failed to illustrate to people was that you're supposed to just kind of pick your method and just do those things. You're not supposed to be trying to do all of it. But anyway, again, being a PvE guy, as far as the story goes, I really like the beginning of this story of the Shadowlands. I think it was really well done. I had no problems on day one getting logged in and playing. There has been, again, another nitpicky thing is with the level crunches and the stat crunch. Some of the old world content that I used to be able to easily go back and do for mount runs, transmog runs, and whatnot, there are certain ones that just aren't balanced right, and they're incredibly more difficult to do now, even at max level, even with lower tier mythic dungeon gear, which to me is odd. But as far as all of the MMOs that came out with an expansion or a story patch of some type last year, those are my top three. And again, I would put Elder Scrolls and World of Warcraft pretty neck and neck. They both have shining, glorious, awesome stuff to do, and they both also have some nitpicky things. And like I said, Guild Wars 2, I mean, that to me, it's like they rose from the dead. It's a glorious thing. I love seeing and hearing stories like that. And so, yeah, that's what I would say is my 2020 MMO favorites. So,
All right. That sounds good. Thanks for the daily quest there. How about you, Solomon? Do you have anything you want to talk about that the last week or anything you want to highlight?
Excuse me. Not really. There's just been a few news that came out, but nothing really sticks out considering it was New Year's and then we had Christmas before that. So yeah, news was kind of scarce, just because everybody was on vacation. But I will say that again, I plugged this last time. I did create a top 25 top MMO RPGs to look forward to in 2021 and beyond. And I'm already finding some games that I should have added in there. Two of which is Project BBQ and the other one's Grand Saga. I'm like, dang it, I don't know why I didn't put that. One of them I didn't put in there because I thought it was strictly going to be a mobile MMORPG, which I said I wouldn't do, but it turns out it's actually going to be a cross-platform with PC. So I thought, okay, dang it, if I knew that I should have. Anyways, but yeah, it's I still stick to that list. I just would have added 2 or replaced 2. But yeah, got some awesome things to look forward to in 2021, in my opinion. I think Crimson Desert probably tops that lists for at least for now, because I don't think, Star Citizen is definitely not going to come out in 2021, and I don't think Ashes of Creation is either. So, but still, nonetheless, still got some pretty awesome things to look forward to, though, regardless.
All right, sounds good. All right, now we're going to go into our main storyline quest. Let's see if this works. That button didn't work. So there we go. All right, it is time for our opinions, our MMO opinions. See that? MMO opinions. Never mind. By the way, thanks everyone who's popping in the chat and watching the show. So we're going to be doing our expectations for 2021. New games, old games, wherever it is. Okay, so there's a lot of different lists out there, and I decided to go looking around and I pulled up the Forbes list. Okay, now their list includes games I say could be 2022, and I'm like, well, it depends, how I look at it. So it kind of matches a little bit what I want, but not quite. Ashes Creation was on the top of the list of the Forbes list, and that is one of the games. Crowfall listed there. They did not mention Camelot Unchained, another game. Those 3 games I have been kickstarting in. The one that's mostly on my list coming out is in May is New World, and so that's the one I'm excited for. What I love doing is watching Solomon's YouTube channel videos, because it does give me opportunity to see other games I had never heard of, like BBQ, even though he kept calling it called barbecue sometimes. You're like, All right, so it's interesting to see games in there. I like Blue Protocol, that I know that your Jaziel and Solomon are both excited about, that I hadn't heard about until it was actually mentioned. So one of the reasons why you should go watch this show, as well as watching all the YouTube videos on Coffee and RPG, so you can see all the new stuff that comes out. So those are the new World's the one that I'm currently still alpha testing and excited about playing it, and so all the things are going on with that. But that's me. So we're gonna throw the Solomon. You mentioned some things there. I'm gonna turn the camera on you, and you tell us what you think your expectations are for 2021.
2021, man. I have the one thing comes into mind, but I'm not exactly sure if it'll actually be the norm in just the span of 1 year. But one of the MMOs that not a whole lot of people know about that I think is really cool is a game called Dual Universe, which I believe it's either alpha or beta, but I'm tempted to say it's actually in beta right now. Anyways, so what's unique about this particular MMO, besides the fact that it's a spacefaring voxel MMORPG where you could pretty much build almost anything, they have this technology where basically everybody shares a single universe. There's just one server for everybody. And I think that's sort of my expectation for 2021 and beyond, but I think it's beyond at this point. I think servers, has as advantages, or realms, if you play World of Warcraft, whatever you want to call them. But I personally think that there are going to be some changes within MMOs, and I think that's going to be one of them, is to have a single server, or at the very least do something very similar to what Black Desert Online does. They have like 5 different versions of a single server, but even then they have like 12 different servers or 10 different servers, and you could actually transfer to any one of them every 10 minutes. The cooldown time is 10 minutes to transfer to any server you want, and I think that's wonderful because, again, you play with, basically the reason why that's awesome is because you get to play with whoever you want. And I think one of the biggest things that we've been seeing this past year, or these past few years, is actually cross-platform play. Like for Fortnite, for example, you're allowed to play with your friends, regardless of if they're on the Xbox or the PC or even the phone. Even you can play people on the with the phone. So I think that's really cool, and I think MMOs need to catch up with that. And so yeah, I think we hopefully they extend that to cross-continental regions as well, because one of the things, even though I love playing Black Desert Online, there's a lot of people in Europe that I could play with, but they completely separate publisher, completely separate servers. Even though I just said that you could pick whatever server that you want in Black Desert Online. So yeah, and I hope that all the MMOs going forward, including Ashes of Creation, including Star Citizen and stuff like that, I hope they use like a single universe, single server for everybody, so that we don't have to pick and choose and deal with like, oh well, I can't play with you because I'm on this server, or I'm on that server, blah blah blah. It's just I think it's old dinosaur technology for me, because we have the technology to do it. So that's probably my biggest expectation that I'm having right now, but I don't think it's going to be a really big thing in 2021. I think we're probably going to see that more maybe 2022 or 23 and beyond moving forward.
Yeah, no problem. What game was that again, just to reiterate it to people?
What, sorry?
The first game you mentioned, the open world space one you mentioned.
Oh yeah, Dual Universe, DUAL Universe.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Check out that game too as well.
I kickstarted that game also. Yeah, I'm.
Oh, did you really?
The alpha stuff has not been so thrilling for me. That's why I'm like, I'll wait for the game to come out. But So every time I get into that game, I fumble around like, and nothing works.
Oh,
Like, I don't know what I'm doing,
I
and
see.
I'm like, what the heck? I mean, it's like nothing's working. I'm just like moving, going out there. And I'm like, okay, fine. I'll wait till it's done, but that's just me.
I see.
All right. But anyways, that cool. So, I mean, that's the thing I'm wondering about this whole 2021. I mean, 2020 has kind of spilled over a little bit because we already start seeing some of the cascading effects of the COVID on certain game conventions being delayed.
Right.
They're probably even going to have like certain games being delayed again because of all this thing. Even though the vaccine is coming out, you're also a lot of people who apparently are avoiding the vaccine because either whatever they're doing. But anyway, so we're going to wait and see what happens there. But it's 2021. I'm like, when I was thinking about what's coming out, I'm like, okay, New World. That's all I really was thinking on my horizon until you see about Ashes Creation. But then again, the Forbes magazine one was like, yeah, but 21-22. I'm like, that's not 21.
Right.
I mean, I know they're doing a lot of good stuff. They had a good alpha, apparently did recently, where now they're opening up for people to buy again because they did so well. But anyways, so Jazil, what are your thoughts on 2021 and what are your expectations, for it?
Well, I like you guys am keeping a keen eye on New World, and I really want to see this succeed for them. Just based on what we've talked about before, that even though those other games weren't MMOs, there was a racing game and there was the Crucible and all those other games that just ultimately flopped pretty hard on release. I would love to see that studio come out with a win. I'm always a champion for the underdog. And from what we did play of it, it was a fun game. Again, I'm not a huge PvP guy, but what we have had in alpha has been pretty good. It needed little slight tweaks here and there, but I felt it was in a pretty good place, and I'm really looking forward to what they put together for us. Again, if they stick with it being primarily a PvP game, I don't know how long I'll stick around with it. And no offense to them whatsoever. It's just that's not I'm more of a story PvE guy, doing dungeons, and I don't know if that was my door or my son putting something down on the counter. My dog is wondering that too. But anyway, I just, I liked especially making the weapons and the armor and whatnot. That was really fun for me, and providing that for the guild and whatnot. So there was plenty there for me to do and still feel like I'm part of the battle, behind the curtain, behind the castle walls, but still being able to do my part. So that's been fun doing alpha, like I said, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they add to it, what they change. I would say but I know they've been listening to us. It's pretty darn obvious. I mean, they've listened to everyone, even showing up on our streams and taking feedback and giving their 2 cents about it, and we saw even with this last little tiny week-long alpha that we got this last time, there were changes that were made that were some of the things that our group had been asking them to please make those changes, and I saw those changes were being implemented. So I got to give them kudos for that, and I can only assume that it's going to go in that same direction for this year for the release. Again, this is going to be very obvious. Okay. Go see who it is. Apparently she didn't want down. Oh well. The Guild Wars 2 End of Dragons, I think that's what it was called, right? Yes, End of Dragons. I believe that's supposed to come out this year. It was announced last March, so it's been a while. They've had time to work on it. And you know what? Again, champion for the underdog, man, and I'm so happy to see them come out of the grave like that. And excuse me, I will be more than happy to pay my $30-$40 and pick up a copy of that expansion and play through it with friends. I have really liked the previous 2 expansions. I thought they were done really well, and again, I feel fairly safe that this is going to be an enjoyable experience. We've got the rest of World of Warcraft. There's no expansion because it just came out. And normally they do it every 2 years, but I'm looking forward to more of that story. What's going on with Sylvanas and the Jailer and all the other people that are probably working behind the scenes there that we don't know about yet. Just love World of Warcraft's lore, even though sometimes there's a lot of retro stuff going on, changes they make that I just roll my eyes and giggle at. And then we've got Elder Scrolls Online that's going to have Oblivion, which is their next expansion coming out this year. And I'm there for that. They can just, I handed them my wallet already. I said, whatever you're going to charge for it, just take it. I'll figure out a way to make some extra money. I'll go out and panhandle on the freeway or something. And I definitely want that. So those are the ones I'm looking forward to. I was looking forward to tinkering around with Ashes of Creation. I kind of believe that it's going to be 2022, though. I don't know. I just have a gut feeling. The other games that we've been looking forward to coming out, I think they're still a ways off. COVID certainly is not helping matters. I don't think any of those superhero games are coming out this year.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Ships of Heroes, City of Titans, and not Pantheon.
We always forget the name of that one.
Pantheon, because it's a different one. There's I forget.
Yeah, I can't. We always forget that one too. It's so sad.
Ship of Heroes.
It'll turn out.
No, that will be named.
It's a one word.
Yeah, Hero, MMO.
Yeah, we need to look this up. We always
I'm
forget
looking it up now. I mean, they did they apparently did an alpha last year that did pretty good, if I recall. So
yeah. Well, 3 of those games look pretty good. There's not much content in Ship of Heroes, though. Yet. Right.
Superhero.
But I really, those aren't going to come out this year, despite some people thinking that they might come out Q4. I really doubt it. But yeah, I think the one that I'm looking forward to the most is just out of curiosity how well they're going to do is New World. I'm really curious to see how many people play that game and stick with it afterwards. And I'm really rooting for them, man. They need a win. They need a win so bad. It'd be good to see them get that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, the thing about that article from Forbes, all new MMOs, that's a good point about the fact that, Final Fantasy 14, they're having a February event. They're going to announce their next expansion. And then, we saw that at the Game Awards that they mentioned, the Gates of Oblivion are coming up for Elder Scrolls Online. We also know that with the release of Shadowlands for a while, there's a bunch of patches coming up. They're going to roll out more and more content. Again, what's the story? Sylvanas broke the helmet of the Lich King, and now all the gates of Shadowlands are opened up. And so what's going to happen? What's going to happen so far? So,
right.
And you're right about the fact that earlier on you mentioned about the fact there's a lot more choices. And I was like, that's one of the pluses of WoW right now. You have all these choices you can choose what to do. You're never bored because if you don't want to do the one, then go do the other thing. I mean, literally the fact that I'm in Bastion and it says, hey, by the way, why don't you go help out the guys over in Revan Weber is gay. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So that's but I mean, those superhero games are not coming out yet. They keep doing stuff and announcing stuff, but they're moving. I mean, the key point is they're not stopping. I know that City of Titans, the one I kickstarted, had at one point a pause. I mean, it was like it was going to be dead in the water type pause, but then it came back with some more funding moving forward. But there's 3 superhero games that are coming out that would be the City of Heroes successors at some point. So that's why I'm like, when I had this topic up, because I thought, what am I missing? What am I missing about games that should be on my radar? I want to put it into a calendar. I want to put out the fact that, hey, we have New World coming out in May. We're planning an event for that, for the release. But what other games are coming out that we want to make an event for? I'm like, what are coming out? Like, so doing some research on this, like, I don't find a lot of games are coming out this year that maybe were on the horizon, but there are. That's why I think we need to put together a better list, make sure we have it on our radar. All right, that is our main story quest. Now we're going to jump into a escort quest. If I can find the right button for this, All right, I realized this volume was really high up there, but this is a topic I thought about. I mean, it's probably be a very short topic, maybe not. When I was talking to a missionary gamer, he likes playing games that have in-game chat, voice chat, because his whole point is jumping into the game and being able to play the game, but also share the gospel, which is great. Okay, he makes relationships, he works with people, he plays with them, supports them whatever they're doing, whether he's playing with the Fallout 76 at first, now he's doing Ark. But he asked about World of Warcraft, and I say, what? Nah, there's no in-game voice. And someone's like, yeah, there is. I go, what? I've been playing WoW for a long time, but I didn't realize I click on the buttons. Okay, there is an in-voice chat option for World of Warcraft. I mean, I know you play when you play Valorant today. That's it. It's not Valorant. It's Valorant. I think it's Valorant is the superhero game. Okay, it's not Valorant. It's not Valiant, because Valiant is like a comic book company. It's in between those two. Anyways, sorry, but anyways, Valorant has an invoice, and you have to almost be like invoice, because you got to talk to each other. You're 5v5 working on these things together. You got to talk together. So I wanted to top it out there. Okay, especially with MMOs, in-game voice chat, use it, or they should just lose it. So Jaziel, ever used it, and should we use it?
That's a tricky one. I have used it, and if we're specifically talking World of Warcraft, I have used the in-game voice. However, it's mainly used for doing raids or dungeons, especially mythics, where you need to have that coordination between players. Now see, I've had previous experience with trying to minister the gospel of Christ in World of Warcraft. And we had issues with that, and we were shut down, basically. It was definitely not an atmosphere for it. There seems to be which it's very odd, because everyone at this point has probably heard about Crossroads chat, and Crossroads chat there's a Barons chat, right? Barons is a place where Alliance and Horde would duke it out a lot, especially back in the early days. Not so much right now, because we're in a completely different plane of existence. But what it became known for, basically, it's toxic chat environment, and there was no seriousness to it whatsoever. It was all just bad mouthing each other and making dirty jokes, and for a long time there, it was nothing but Chuck Norris jokes, which some of them were pretty hilarious. I got to give them.
Dang, those are old.
Yes, they are old. So is the game. As far as ministry goes with it, like I said, we used to, especially back during the God Squad days when we had, like 40 people on there doing Bible studies in the open in Dalaran or in the
Oh,
major
okay.
cities. Um, we were asked to discontinue doing so in general chat and shouts, and um, there were several complaints from people, and for whatever reason, it's okay to make fun of our president, to make fun of any political parties or anything like that. It's okay to say all kinds of trash talking and whatnot, but man, if you go talking about Christianity, especially, I have seen people get upset about other religions, but not as much as Christianity getting spoken in chat. They just go ape. Everybody, it's awful. It really
Mm.
is. But we did end up having to discontinue doing Bible studies and whatnot in general chat, and had to go into private groups and doing it via Discord and whatnot as well, and being in game together in one place. But yeah, it was really sad. It was really sad, and if Missionary Gamer were to ask me, is that a good place to do ministry? I would say any place is a good place to do ministry, but you're
Right.
probably going to get stopped. You can
Yeah.
continue, but you can continue doing it. Just say, "Well, I feel called to do this, and I'm going to do it," and they're going to warn you. And if you don't stop, they will ban you. Ultimately, is what will happen. I got the warning of a ban warning myself. I was leading some of those Bible studies at the time, and I received warnings from Blizzard. So
Wow, really?
I don't know, man.
Enough people
Yeah, it's
complain.
yeah. If enough people complain and they feel like they're offended, it doesn't matter what it is. I guess
Hmm.
it's a really sad thing.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting. I hadn't. I mean, huh. I think there have been people who at times were like critical of Missionary Gamer at first doing that because people were like, what are you doing? He's like, I just want to play a game. But then again, he only engages people by asking them first. He plays the game
Right.
with them, okay? But then he asks them, is it okay if I talk with you? And then he starts doing that. I mean, it's one thing, in fact, you guys innocuously, in Dalaran, in open voice chat, because, before Discord came along, we know we had other things like TeamSpeak and Mumbles and
Trello, yeah.
Trello. But it's like, the fact that you're in the middle of this, you're doing this thing, and people can run by all the time. And it's like, I'm sure that the people have been banned, maybe so, maybe not, banned for saying worse things, but it makes you wonder because you just don't see them as much. But then again, you don't see them congregating in one spot in Dollarine, just hanging out and just talking like that, like the fact that people get offended by it, the gospel is offensive. And it's interesting that people got offended by it because why? What is it? What is hurting them? Well, I didn't want to hear that in the game. Okay, well, then turn your chat off. Well, I do want to get out of chat. Well, then you can go somewhere else. I mean, it's like any conversation you have out in real life. You go to the mall, if you see 4 or 5 people there in the mall hanging out, having a Bible study, what are you going to do? You're going to go like, hey, mall cops, you guys can't do this. Like, seriously? It's like, I'm not to be here. Well, but you can't talk religion here. You should go to a church, right? Like, what's wrong with doing it here? It's
Right.
interesting that I didn't, so Blizzard went to that degree to actually tell you you're going to be banned. Okay. So,
Yeah, I've got
so
screenshots of them somewhere. I
you're
think
in a
they're on my
sense saying,
USB. But
it's a cool thing to have, but right now it's more like, we're not using game voice chat because there's no point to it. We meet people, we get in the guild, we do heroics or myths, whatever we're doing. We're doing it in voice chat in a Discord, not out in open server. So it's like, why even have it
yeah.
nowadays?
Well, I like I said, I only use it now if I'm in a raid or I'm in a Mythic Plus and they're saying, "Can you hop on so that we can communicate
Okay,
what we're doing, what's going
yeah,
on, make sure everybody's on the same page." especially if there's a timer involved or whatever, you want to get through
Right.
there efficiently. But almost every time, whoever's leading the chat will state no politics, no religion, right off from the start. So yeah,
Yeah, PPR, religion, politics, pineapple, and relationships.
pineapple.
All right,
Appleton.
Solomon, it's your turn. What are your thoughts about the in-game voice chat? Use it, lose it, what? What are your thoughts?
I don't think you'll ever catch on, just because you're never gonna find that one person. Or no, hang on, let me rephrase that. Gamers hardly ever stick to just one game. They have a library of games. Matter of fact, they have the Steam syndrome, which I euphemistically call it, when Steam games go on sale during the summer and you never play them, and then you end up playing them like after a year or two or something like that. But anyways, so I mean, I think it's a novelty, or at the very least a gimmick, because it's just, think of a game that you play and you use voice chat, but then it's just like, unless you're able to use that same voice chat for other games, it's just not gonna happen. I think that's why Discord. I think that's why, ever since I started playing MMOs back in, like, I want to say 2005 or 6. We've always used, as you mentioned earlier, TeamSpeak, Bumble, what other ones?
Ventrilo.
Oh yeah, Ventrilo. Yeah, that's the one I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
And then now everybody's using
Yeah,
Discord. And then 2, 3, 5, 10 years from now, it's going to be something else, And it's just because, yeah, we play a variety of games, and there just really isn't a point of putting in VoIP, voice of VoIP, or VoIP. I'm still tired, everyone. I'm still asleep. And yeah, I mean, I think if they put it in there, it's nice to have, like, just in case, I think, because some people might pick up gaming and they don't know about Discord, which happens. It's like, it's not like we stay with the same people every single time. There's going to be players who who never gamed before and will start picking up gaming, and maybe they don't know about Discord and stuff like that. So yeah, all in all, I think if companies put it in there, it's nice to have it there. It's just good to know that it's there at the end of the day. But if they didn't, like, would I be completely upset over it regardless of what game I'm playing? It's like, no, not really.
Yeah, and that's interesting because there's the two things that I wasn't really thinking about or thought about at one point, right? Because I've been doing in-voice game chat through Shepherds Online, but only when it comes to in a group, never open world, because it allowed for me and not Fred to play the game together. Because we tried when Razer used to have their little voice thing. We used to use that, then it went away. Discord we tried using, unfortunately, because his computer and his internet was crappy. We ended up sticking with the actual in-game stuff. And when you pick up people along the way who are in your game with you, it is a great way to say, hey, we're in voice chat, talk with us so we can do that. And so that's why I hadn't really thought about the benefit of actually, just because we are all on the same platform. Well, what do you guys have, Discord? No. Okay, well, all right, well, you got Vent? No, I don't have Vent. I get, it's like, oh, crap. Well, hey, well, the game's here. The thing is, though, this is my opinion, and it's only based around Shepherds Online. The in-game stuff is crap. It's not as good as Zoom or Discord or other stuff like Vent, and because they're not meant to be that way. There's an add-on, and it's not really the best thing they're actually working on. So it's like, people, I think, migrate to other places because why not? And I can see the benefit that Jaziel said about being in a raid, and it's like, hey guys, can we get together in a voice chat? I don't want to type it to you. And you're like, okay, well, how do we do that? Well, let's get an in-game chat going in the group. And so that is, I think that, to me, is a fine, decent way to use it. It's the open world one. It's when you're in the middle of Dalaran or middle of the Barrens, and just basically by proximity of a location, you can hear people talking. That's the part that it was like, okay, maybe that's the one people don't want to use. And that's where they maybe that should be phase it out and forget about it. I don't think it hurts the companies. I don't think the companies lose for having it in the game. I also don't think they're actually causing any issues with it by having it there, but who knows? All right, so that was our viewpoints on that. So we end our time together talking about world events. No, not the fact that it's 2021 and the world is going to peace in not falling apart, but actually peace coming out in the Middle East anyway. So, but world events in game, because after all, there are those world monsters you want to kill and other things you want to do. And we will have one in May for a new world. When New World gives us a more of a timeline of dates, we know we know the dates coming out, but still timeline and whatnot. We're going to have our, like we did before with WoW Classic as well as Elder Scrolls Online. We're going to have our release party. Actually, we had one from WoW too. I forget. Shadowlands. We had Shadowlands too. Yeah. So we'll do that. We're going to have that. We're going to have the little world event. So join us for that, and we'll plan other stuff too along the way. So there you go. All right, now our quests are done, the dungeons are looted, and the loot has been distributed, and crafting dailies are completed. The gear has been made for all the orders, and so it's time to go AFK. Solomon, where can you find you?
Coffee and RPGs, as always. Been trying to crank out as much videos as possible, but yeah, things just been a little hectic with my sleep schedule, so I do appreciate your guys' patience. But yeah, Coffee and RPGs. I also have another second YouTube channel called Relaxing Gaming Scenes, sort of my quasi ASMR channel. So if you want to check that out too, links will be down in the description below. And I'm saying that because I know I'm going to be posting this on YouTube. So thanks again, everyone, for your support.
That's right, in the doobly-doo down below,
Yeah.
All right. Is he still around? What's the guy's name? It was the bearded guy from Chicago. I forget his name all of a sudden. Anyways, yeah. So Jaziel, where can you find you at?
Mostly in game and World of Warcraft right now. I do still pop into Elder Scrolls Online. Other than that, Discord and here on Twitch. That's about it.
All right, sounds good. So I am Kennethan. This is my channel. So you can find me again at Kennethan. Also Twitter at Kennethan Live. I've been trying to get other social media stuff going. So maybe those things will see more content like TikTok or YouTube and other stuff. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for sharing your opinions with us. As always, I appreciate these two guys because they give me so much more information than I had before. Like I said, if you're not following their channels, do it because the wealth of information. When you watch Jaziel playing the game, he tells you where it's at. You're watching Solomon use your channel, he tells you where it's at too, and more, because he gives you the top tips and news of the day, which is really good because it allows me opportunity to watch the video and not have to read the article myself. So there you go. All right, we are done. Time to go and play some World of Warcraft. So take care of yourself. God bless you guys, and we'll see you next week on another Trinity MMO Show.